Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now this is a rather wonderful piece of African mahogany, and we're going to be using this to create a piece that we are going to be giving away to one of you. So stick around and you can find out how it can be yours. So this species of mahogany is from the tropical regions in Africa. It is on the endangered list, but this piece has been in the country for a very long time, so those regulations do not apply in this case. Now the nicest grain is running through this center, as you can see. On the other side of the piece, you can still make it out around there, but it's not as predominant. So whatever we make, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bowl, needs to take that into consideration. So I'm thinking that this area needs to be the base. The reason why I was saying that is because if this was the top of the bowl, we're going to be taking away a lot of the major figure in this wood. Whereas if we use this as the base, this nice figure will go through the base and up the sides as well. So that's what I think is going to be best. Now this piece has had a repair. This corner's obviously come off at some point and has been stuck back on. Now I don't want that to interfere with the design. So initially we're going to create a blank to use from this area here. So I'll quickly get that marked up and then we shall cut it out on the bandsaw. Okay, so here's our blank, all nicely trimmed. And cutting it back has certainly shown us some amazing potential grain we've got in here to expose. So we're looking forward to that. We do have some rot here, but I'm sure we can work past that. It's a big piece of wood, so quite usable. Now, as we mentioned, this is going to be the bottom. This is going to be the top, so we'll find the center. Use a worm screw, I think. It's not particularly heavy, so a worm screw will be fine, and we'll get started. Okay, we're on the lathe, we're pretty well balanced. We're using tailstock support at the start to make sure we are always keeping ourselves nice and safe. Now, we do have a few issues around here with some rot and this piece stuck on to deal with. So initial stages, I'm going to be trying to take away as much of this as possible. I still haven't quite decided exactly what we're going to make, but I think once we start turning, something will make me realise what this is going to be. Sometimes it's better to try and let the wood speak to you in terms of what it wants to become, as opposed to trying to force a design on it. Right, so face shield will be on to keep ourselves safe in case that comes off, and we can start turning this at about 850 RPM. Okay, it's coming on quite nicely. We do have a very loose piece of wood there, so I think, yeah, I'll take that out first. I don't want that flying at me while I'm turning. And that does let us see how deep this rot goes. It's kind of all in this area all the way through, so that's going to, or that could interfere with the design when we start working on one. It may have to come up shorter or have a narrow base and then fan out. We'll figure that out as we're taking more of this away. Right, so I'm going to continue on. We're primarily working on clearing a lot of this area away here. I think a design will appear as we're doing it. Okay, there's still signs of rot around there. This one here will go all the way through to there, so to get rid of that one, we'd lose practically the whole base of the piece. So I'm sure we can deal with that with a bit of CA glue or something like that. So, but we still do need to get rid of this. So let's get rid of that and then see where we are. Okay, we've cleared that. We have opened up a crack here, which is fine. That was always a potential to happen. I think we do need to widen this base a little bit, so I'm just going to take the tailstock away and just take this up by about 1/2 inch. That's nicer. That is fine. Right, we've still got this bit to remove here, so I'm going to take this curve wider to meet just above where this is here. I'm kind of letting the character in the wood decide on its shape. Right, we got rid of that bit that had been glued on. Now, as I was turning, initially we had a curve going in, but I've just tried to spend a little bit of time feathering it in. So first of all, initially we've got the curve going out and then in at the end. I think that's a nicer, softer line. And what I want to do now is to try and, rather than having this hard edge on this curve here, I just want to feather that in a little bit. That's given us a nice soft curve, but it has given us this great big wall of wood on the side. So I'm going to do that again, that curve, but I'm going to stop it here to produce a little lip, which I'm going to define it a little bit more so it looks almost as if a bowl's sat on a platter or something like that. It's a little bit deep, but I do like the idea. Right, I'm just going to quickly take this curve going the other way so we can get rid of this crack here. And I'll just figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to keep this or just change it slightly. love that curve. One continuous curve now from the top to what we will perceive as the base there. But I think this lip is a little bit deep, so I'm just going to narrow that down a bit and refine it. This is unlike anything I've ever turned before, I think. Right, first of all, I really apologise about the noise. They're taking down a barn in the background there, so that's why there's a bit of a clattering and banging going on. Right, I'm going to take a quick break while they're doing that, and I'll come back in a second. Okay, we're back. It's a bit quieter now. They seem to have stopped for the evening, so we can continue. A couple of jobs we need to do before we sand. We need to sort out this edge here because there's a little bit of wood missing, so it'd be nice to have that all nice and square. We need to put a recess in here for when we turn it around. And we also need to fill these holes with something. Normally I would leave them, but I think in this case I'm going to fill them with, I think, with a milliput or something like that. So, order of business, what should we do first? I think I'll sort out this area here. Okay, that's beautiful. That's given us a beautiful clean edge there now, ready to sand. Recess next, and then we'll fill. Right, now to fill these gaps I'm going to use milliput, and if you've never come across this stuff before, it's basically an epoxy putty. Two components, the colour and the hardener. You mix them together in equal quantities, and when they're mushed together they start to dry. We'll just mix them together until they become one even colour. That's all nice even colour now, so we're going to start off with this smaller one here. I've got a couple of picks to help me push the milliput into the holes. Okay, that's about done it. There's no more areas to fill or need attention. Now realistically this can be turned in about 5 hours depending on the room temperature, but as it's already in the evening, then I shall come back to this first thing in the morning. Right, see you soon. Okay, so the next morning the milliput has dried beautifully, so I'm going to quickly cut it back and then go straight onto sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it, but I shall bring you back when it's done. Okay, well that all went very well. So we're going to quickly put some isopropyl alcohol on just to clean out the dust from all the grooves. I really can't wait to get a proper finish on this bowl because the wood is just amazing. The first time turning African mahogany. I've had these pieces for quite a while and I've been dying to do something with them. I just couldn't find the right project. I know I'm giving it away so I don't get to keep it, but it's the turning of the wood that I love. Okay, we'll let this dry and then I'm going to go on with a shellac sealer and then we'll go on with an abrasive paste. Okay, this is a shellac sealer. I give it a couple of coats and some of the wood is a little bit softer. Look at that there. That is just gorgeous. Okay, right, I'll let this dry, apply a second coat, and I'll bring you back when we put the abrasive paste on. Okay, so 2 coats. Now it's time for the abrasive paste. Okay, that's the abrasive paste done. I'm just going to again wipe off any excess with isopropyl. Once again, we'll let this dry. Okay. That's all nicely evaporated. Now we're going to go on with a shine juice, which is shellac and a linseed oil finish. We're going to put this on while the piece is spinning and then buff it into hopefully a high shine. Okay, let's turn this round and do the same thing to the other side. Okay, we're all turned around, nice and safely locked off using tailstock as usual. Now I am contemplating putting a small black inlay in this bowl, just to mirror the milliput that we've had to use to fill the cracks. Just put a small thin black line in resin around the outside. I think it'll just give it a nice little bit of class to it. Anyway, let's start facing this off. It's pretty flat already, but let's get it on level and then we'll start hollowing out. Okay, let's explore this idea of putting an inlay in. And if I had something fairly narrow, I'm thinking from there to about there. Almost like a pinstripe, but not quite, just a bit broader than that. Actually, if I just go a fraction wider, then that width on that edge is almost there. It just needs to go into about there. Okay, that's a plan. Always time to change our minds. But for the moment, that's what we're going to head towards. So we'll carry on hollowing out. It's all progressing quite nicely. I'm going to have to take away the tailstock now because it's stopping access into the ball as we're getting deeper. Okay, we're nearly there. We're about half an inch away from where we want to be. I am leaving a little bit of room on the edges and on the base just for refinishing at the end, because if we are going to be putting an inlay in this, then there could be some cleanup afterwards. So I don't want to go to its final thickness now. Okay, in terms of hollowing, I think that's going to do us nicely for now. So I'm going to cut the inlay, and then we'll take it off, take it to the workbench and start filling it. Okay, that'll do. Right, I'm going to quickly put a bit of sandpaper around the edges here. I'm going to shove some shellac sealer in this gap as well, just to help waterproof it and stop the resin seeping through the wood, which it can sometimes do. Okay, we're about ready to start. I've kept the bowl on top of the chucks, just so it goes back on the lathe in exactly the same position and we don't get any wobble from it. I poured some shellac sealer in here to help seal it, and you can tell what effect it had. If you look at the end grain there, you can see the shellac starting to come through, and if that had been resin, that could definitely spoil the look of the end bowl. So anyway, right, we're about ready to start. Okay, there's no need for us to use the deep pour resin on this because it's only going to be about 5mm deep, so the normal casting resin is absolutely fine. This is mixed in a 50-50 ratio, and I think we're going to need a maximum of about 100ml. So I'm going to put 50ml of each of these into here. That's fine. I'm going to mix this for at least 2 minutes. Be enough. Now there's no need for this to sit to let the bubbles come to the top for a while, because we are going to be adding colour, so we may as well do that after we've added the colour. As I said earlier on, I want this black inlay to match the milliput we put on the outside, so I'm using an opaque black colour pigment from X Resin. Oh, that is black, that is gorgeous. Right, I just want to add a little bit of a sparkle to it because I like sparkles. It's not going to be a lot, just a little bit of the black mica powder. This will just help give the resin a little bit of interest, a bit of depth. Not much. Okay, I'll let that sit for a couple of minutes just to get some of the bubbles out. After I pour it, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of heat to pop the rest of the bubbles, and then we're going to use the pressure chamber as well just to help finish it off. Okay, we're about ready. I'll just put a bit of tape around the edges just to protect it in case it needs it. I'm just going to pour from the inside like this and then rotate it with my left hand. Whew. Not bad. Right, it needs to go up a little bit higher. Okay, that's pretty much flush all the way around the top. I'll let it sit like this for 20-25 minutes and periodically just hit it with a blowtorch just to pop the bubbles. But after that, we'll shove it in the pressure pot. The other good thing about this resin is that it'll only take 24 hours to cure at the most, so we can carry on with this tomorrow. Okay, it's all nice and dry. We're back on the lathe so we can take off this tape and cut it back. Tape's just interfered a little bit with the finish on the outside, but do not worry, we'll soon get that back. Okay, so initially we'll take a couple of quick passes across here to clean this up, take a look at it, and then we'll finish hollowing out. Okay, pretty good. I like that. Okay, let's finish hollowing this out. Okay, it's pretty good. Right, I'm going to set up for sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it, but I shall bring you back when we're done. There we go, all sanded up and looking lovely. As usual, give it a good clean out with isopropyl alcohol. Helps get all the dust out the pores. You can see the colour of the dust on the cloth. And we'll let that dry. Okay, that's all nicely dried, so as before, we're going to go on with a couple of coats of sealer and then abrasive paste. Okay, that's our time to dry. Now the witness line from the tape we had on the top wasn't going as much as I thought it would when I put a bit of sealer on it. So I've just quickly sanded that back and sealed that as well. So now we'll use the abrasive paste on the inside and on this top edge as well. Okay, beautiful. Right, isopropyl alcohol again to wipe off excess. We'll let that dry. Okay, time to put on the shine juice. We use 2 or 3 coats this time, inside and out. After each one is dried, I'm going to cut it back with a wire wool, and then when that's done, we'll take a look at the finished article. Okay, coat 1, and I'll bring you back when it's done. There we go. One African mahogany bowl with a resin inlay. I'm so pleased with the way this one came out. It was definitely the right decision to make this the bottom, so we've got this beautiful grain going up the sides and also down and through the center as well. That really, really worked out well. I've enjoyed creating this one. It was one of those pieces where I had no preconception of what I was going to make. I just let the wood itself decide what it wants to be. And this can be yours. If you want to be in a chance to win this, all you have had to have done is to have subscribed to the channel and have left a comment on one of the last videos since our last giveaway. Every comment you leave counts as one vote, and we will be drawing the winner on the 11th of July. So that's a week next Thursday. It can't be any later than that because I'm going away for a week with my beautiful wife. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all those usual things, and if you could share it as well, then that would be absolutely amazing. If you fancy having a go at a resin inlay like this, you just need a normal cast-in resin, and the Let's Resin products do work very, very well. And there is a discount code in the description below. So there we go. Good luck everybody with the competition, and I shall see you all next time. Thank you.